the recording will start, I will shift to PDF. Okay, now it has worked. Okay, now we'll start our lecture. Okay, so good morning, friends. I'm Sunita Fadkule from Jayawant Rao Sawan College of Engineering, Mechanical Department. Okay, so today we are going to solve 7 problems on damp-free vibrations. Okay, what is the learning outcome? You will be able to determine omega d, that is damp natural frequency, zeta, that is damping ratio, and delta, that is logarithmic decrement for damped free vibratory system. Okay, so let us see the recap what you have learned in unit number 1 for damped free vibration. So as there are 3 damped system, first is over damp. So what is the solution for over damp? X is equal to C1 e raised to, see, like this it happen, I have to get admitted to all the students. So over RAM, this is the solution. X is equal to C1 e raised to S1t. This is your S1 plus C2 e raised to S2t. Okay. Then critically damped, it is X is equal to C1 plus C2t into e raised to minus omega nt, because here value of zeta is 1. Okay. And for under damped, X is equal to A2 e raised to minus zeta omega nt into sine, this is omega d plus phi 2. Okay. Then logarithmic decrement. Okay, can you see this figure? See, logarithmic decrement, it is defined as natural log, that is based to E. What is log of ratio of any 2 successive amplitudes on the same side of mean position? See, it is shown here, x1, x2, x3, x4, etc. Okay, so what is the formula for delta? That is logarithmic decrement. Delta is equal to 2 pi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, or it is also equal to, in terms of ratio, 2 log base to E x1 upon x2, or for many number of cycles it is 1 upon n log base to E x1 upon x n plus 1. Okay, and this is the formula for time period, that is time required for damped free vibration. Td is equal to 2 pi upon omega d. And what is omega d? Omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so let us move to problem number 1. Okay, see, we'll read the problem. An over damped system, that means the value of zeta is greater than 1, correct? Shown in following figure has a spring stiffness of 14 kilonewton per meter. That means K is equal to 14 kilonewton per meter. Okay, 10 raised 14 into 10 raised to 3 Newton per meter. A viscous damper having damping coefficient of 1400 Newton second per meter. 1 second, who had joined Kshitija? Okay. Okay, so C is equal to 1400 Newton second per meter and a mass of 8.6 kg, that is M is equal to 8.6 kg. Okay, it is at rest in its static equilibrium position when it receives an impulse force acting to the right that imparts an initial instantaneous velocity of 25 meter per second to the mass. So this sentence gives you the initial conditions. Okay, so what are the initial conditions? That at t is equal to 0, x is equal to 0, because the mass is still in the equilibrium position, and at t is equal to 0, x dot is equal to minus 25 meter per second. Even if you take here 20 plus or minus, it doesn't make any difference. Okay, because we have considered the right hand side positive. Okay, and body is assumed to be moving towards left hand side. Okay, sign is not important here, but the condition is important. Okay, so what we have to determine? An expression for the displacement x of mass in terms of time t. Okay, then secondly, we have to determine what will be the maximum displacement of the mass from the initial position, and third, what length of time will be required for the mass to attain the position of maximum displacement. Okay, so let us go to the solution. See, this is the given data. Okay, and this is the system. Okay, damper is there, spring is there, this is the mass, okay, which is vibrating about this mean position. Okay, So what is given data? M is equal to 8.6 kg, K is equal to this one, C is equal to, and then these are the initial conditions as we discuss right now. Okay. So whenever you know K and M, first thing you always do, find out natural frequency. So natural frequency is equal to omega n, that is equal to square root of K upon M. Okay. So values are given, K and M. So natural frequency omega n is 40.34 radian per second. Okay. Now, you find out the damping factor. Okay, because see, C is directly given to you. Okay, damping factor zeta is C upon Cc. C is given to you, and what is Cc? This is a critical damping coefficient. Okay, and which is given by 2m omega n. Okay, so m is given, omega n we have found, calculated. So zeta, that is damping ratio, it is coming 2.01. Okay, so what do you understand from the value of zeta? That is 2.01. Okay, it is greater than 1. Okay, see, nothing is given in the problem whether the system is under damp, over damp, critically damp. Okay, from the value of zeta you have to recognize whether the system is under damp, over damp, or critically damp. So as here the value of zeta is greater than 1, that is 2.01, the system is over damp. Okay, so what is the equation for over damp? This we have already seen. X is equal to C1 e raised to minus zeta plus square root of zeta square minus 1 into omega nt plus C2 e raised to minus zeta minus square root of zeta square minus 1 omega nt. So here there is a plus sign, here there is a minus sign. Okay. Now what you have to do? Put the value of zeta. Already we have found out 2.01. So putting the value of zeta, okay, you will get this equation. X is equal to C1 e raised to minus 10.74 t, because t is unknown, remaining all things are known to you. Because see, omega n, you have to put the value of omega n also. So putting the value of zeta and omega n, we get the equation X is equal to C1 e raised to minus 10.74 t plus C2 e raised to minus 151.27 t. This is your solution. This is your equation of motion for over damped system. Okay. Now further part is very easy. What you have to do? You have to just find out the values of C1 and C2. Okay. So how will you find out? There are two initial conditions. Okay. As you require X dot, first differentiate this equation of X. Okay. So X dot is equal to, what's the differentiation of first term? Minus 10.74 C1 e raised to minus 10.74 T. Minus, because this is a minus value, no? So second term is minus 151.27 C2 into e raised to minus 151.27 T. Okay. Now apply the initial condition. What is first initial condition? At T is equal to 0, X is equal to 0. Okay. So when I put here T is equal to 0, that is 0 is equal to C1 e raised to 0 plus C2 e raised to 0. Okay. So here C1 plus C2 is equal to 0. This you will get from the first initial condition. Then you apply second initial condition. At T is equal to 0, X dot is equal to minus 25 meter per second. Okay. So put here values. This is X dot. So minus 25 is equal to minus 10.74 C1 as it is into e raised to 0 minus 151.27 into C2 into e raised to 0. Okay. So what you will get? Minus 25 is equal to minus 10.74 C1 minus 151.27 C2. Okay. So solving these two simultaneous equation. First is 0 is equal to C1 plus C2 and second is minus 25 is equal to minus 10.74 C1 minus 151.27 C2. Solving these two simultaneous equation, you will get C1 is equal to minus 0.177 and C2 is plus 0.177. Okay. If you consider this plus sign, plus 25 meter per second, these values will be only, sign will be different, nothing else will be there. Okay. So putting the value of C1 and C2 into this equation, your solution X is equal to, so what you will get? X is equal to minus 177 minus 0.177 into e raised to minus 10.74 t plus 0.177 into e raised to minus 151.27 t. This is your answer. Okay. So this is the equation of motion or solution for over dam system. Okay. Now this was the first part. What I have to find out as a second part? time required to attain maximum displacement. Okay, that means this is your system. In this system, suppose maximum it has been traveled here up to this position. How much time is required to attain this maximum displacement? Okay, in mathematics 3 you have learned how to find out maxima and minima for any equation. Okay, so this is your equation. To find out maximum value of t, what you will do, differentiate this equation with respect to t and equate it to 0, then you will get the value of t. Okay, so differentiating above equation with respect to t and equating to 0 to get maximum displacement. Okay, so differentiating that is dx by dt and equate it to 0. That's why it is 0 on right hand side. Okay, have I admitted? Okay. So 0 is equal to this minus, where is that one? Minus 10 point, so differentiating, no, so that means minus 10.74 into minus 0.177 into e raised to minus 10.74 t. Okay, what is the differentiation of second term? Minus 151.27 into 0.177 into e raised to minus 151.27. Okay, so this will give you t is equal to 0.018 second. Okay, now see here, it is e raised to term, two terms are there equal to 0. So at home you have to solve the problem, because how to solve this using calculator, that you must know. Okay, so here we will get t is equal to 0.018 second. So in 0.018 second, system will reach to the maximum displacement position. Okay, now we have to find out how much is that maximum displacement. What you will do? Putting t is equal to 0.018 second in equation 3. See, this is your equation of displacement. So here, if you put t is equal to this 0.018 second, you will get x. Okay, so displacement corresponding to t is equal to 0.1882 seconds will be x max, that is maximum displacement. Putting the value of t here, you will get maximum displacement at minus 0.1343 meter. This is your answer. Understood the problem? Please let me know any doubt is there. I will move to the screen and you can put on the chat box. If any doubt is there in this problem, please put. Otherwise, we will go to the next problem. Did you understand? Please put in the chat box. Okay. I think 2-3 people can answer. So let us move to the next problem. Okay. So second problem. A spring mass damper system has a mass of 4 kg. Okay. So M is equal to 4 kg. Stiffness of the spring is 300 Newton per meter. So K is equal to 300 Newton per meter. And damping coefficient of 35 Newton second per meter. That is C is equal to 35 Newton second per meter. Okay. Determine first natural frequency of damp vibration. Okay. That is FD question mark. Second, natural frequency of system if instead of viscous damping, dry friction damping is present. And take frictional force as 8 Newton. Okay. So frictional force if the damping is dry damping instead of viscous damping. Okay. So we have to find out natural frequency in both the cases. Okay. In first say case, it's very simple. K is given, M is given. So natural frequency omega n is equal to square root of K upon M. That comes out to be 8.66 radian per second. Okay. And now we have to find out this is the natural frequency, but see here, don't confuse between damped frequency and damped natural frequency and damped natural frequency. See, what is asked here? Natural frequency of damped vibration. That means it is not omega n. It is omega d. What you want to find out? Omega d, not omega n. Omega n is the natural frequency. That means whenever damping is not present. Okay, but you always require omega n. So first thing in the problem, always you find out omega n. Okay. Once you find out omega n, you know what is the formula for omega d? Omega d is equal to square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n. Omega n already you have calculated. Now, if you can calculate zeta, you can find out omega d. Okay. How will you calculate zeta? C upon Cc. Okay. C directly given 35. How will you find out Cc? You know it is 2m omega n. Okay. M is given, omega n we have calculated. So zeta comes out to be 0.5. Okay. So what is the type of this system? Under damped, because zeta is less than 1. Okay. So omega d is then putting the value of zeta 0.5, putting the value of omega n, that is 8.66. You will get omega d 7.49 radian per second. Okay. Then you find out fd, that is omega d upon 2 pi. That comes out to be 1.19 hertz. So this is your answer. Okay. Now, what is the second part? What is asked? Natural frequency of the system if instead of viscous damping, dry friction damping is present. Okay, now we have seen the comparison in the last lecture. Okay, whenever it's a dry friction is there, no external viscous damping is there. But for dry friction or column damping, your system will vibrate with natural frequency only. So omega d is nothing but your omega n. Okay, because there is no external damping you are providing. It is a self-excited vibration. Okay, so system will vibrate with natural frequency only. So square root of k upon m is the natural frequency. You know k, you know m. Find out omega d, that is equal to omega n, that is equal to 8.66 radian per second. Understood? So very simple problem, can be asked for 4 to 6 marks. And remember my friends, for GATE exam, there will be definitely 1 or 2 problem on this vibration. Okay, and like this only, very short problems will be there. Any doubt in this second problem, please put in the chat box. Otherwise, we will move to the third problem. We are going to complete 7 problems, which are somewhat difficult as compared to the last problems we have taken in the earlier lecture. Okay, I think no doubt we will move to third problem. Okay, so an under-damped shock absorber is to be designed for a motorcycle of mass 250 kg. That means mass is given 250 kg, correct? Such that during a road bump, that is speed breaker you can say, the damped period of vibration is limited to 3 seconds. Damped period, what is the notation for this? Time period. Okay, that is TD is equal to 3 seconds. Okay, and the amplitude of vibration should reduce to 1/18th in one cycle. Okay, that means if first amplitude is 1, next amplitude is 1/18. Again, I will read this sentence, very important. The amplitude of vibration should reduce to 1/18th in one cycle. Okay, find stiffness of spring required, that is K, and damping coefficient of the shock absorber. So in short, we have to design the shock absorber, means whatever the spring you are going to select, what should be the K of that spring, and whatever the fluid you are using in the shock absorber, what is the damping coefficient of that fluid. Okay, so what is given? M is given 250 kg, time period of vibration is given TD 3 seconds. Okay, and then we have to find out stiffness K and damping coefficient C. Okay, so you know this formula, how to find out logarithmic decrement, means what? How to find out how much is the reduction in one cycle. This is the formula. Okay, so delta is equal to log base 2e x1 upon x2. Okay, what is x1? Initial amplitude. What is x2? Amplitude after one cycle. Okay, now let us see what are the values of x1 and x2. Okay, so x1 upon x2 is, okay, it is x1 upon x2. So if it is reduced, it is directly given that the amplitude of vibration should reduce to 1/18th in one cycle. Means x1 upon x2 is directly given 1/18, 1/18. If x1 is 1, Okay, that means x1 upon x2 is 1/18th. This is the amplitude reduction in one cycle. So put the value of x1 upon x2 here, that is 1/18. You will get delta, that is 2.89. Okay, so from delta you will find out zeta. You have studied this formula. Delta is equal to 2 pi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, or the same formula has been written in terms of zeta. Zeta is equal to delta upon the square root of 4 pi square plus delta square. Okay, so from this formula you find out zeta. So how much zeta is coming? 0.4178. So that means this is the under damped system. Okay, so once you get zeta, now you have to find out C, no? Okay, omega d is known to you and zeta is known to you. Why omega d is known to you? Because you know omega d is equal to 2 pi upon Tp. Okay, here I should, this is Tp means time period, Td, I should have written Td, that is time period for damped vibration, means time required to complete one cycle. Okay, so omega d is equal to 2 pi upon Td. Okay, so 2 pi upon 3, time period is given, it requires 3 seconds to complete one cycle. So 2 pi upon 3 comes out to be 2.09 radian per second, that is omega d. Okay, who had joined so late? Okay, so once we find out omega d, you can find out omega n. Because omega n, see, listen, in this problem, k is not, only m is given and we want to find out k. So immediately it should come to your mind that, okay, I want to find out k. There is only one formula which will relate k and m, that is omega n. So m is directly given. If I want to find out k, I must find out omega n. How will you find out omega n? From this formula. Omega d is equal to omega n square root of 1 minus zeta square. So zeta already we have found out. Omega d also directly given. Okay, and putting the value of omega d and zeta, we can find out omega n, that is 2.30 radian per second. Okay, so once we found out 2.30, that is omega n, put value here and you can find out k. So k is equal to 1322.52 Newton meter. Okay, then we have to find out damping coefficient. You know what is the formula for zeta? Already we have found out value of zeta. Zeta is equal to C upon Cc. Okay, so C upon 2m omega n, that is Cc. So m is known to us, omega n we have found out. Okay, we know zeta, find out C. Okay, so once we find out C, okay, that gives us the damping coefficient of fluid and spring stiffness of spring, which is used in the shock absorber of vehicle. Okay, so again, this is very important problem which is related to practical application of under damped vibration system for your two-wheeler or four-wheeler. Okay, so how to find out stiffness and damping coefficient? So first you have to find out, see, x1 upon x2, this ratio is given in one cycle, how much is the reduction? From this one find out delta, from delta find out zeta, from zeta, okay, you find out omega n. Okay, and how to find out omega d? From the time period, given time period. Okay, once we find out omega n, find out k. Okay, this gives you spring stiffness, and then from zeta, knowing Cc, find out C, that is damping coefficient. Understood? Very simple problem to find out value of C and K. Okay, so this is the learning outcome overall, determination of vibratory parameters, that is C, delta, then omega, etc. for different types of vibratory system of single degrees of freedom. Okay, now let us move to problem number 4. Before that one, we just want to revise the formulae which will be useful for solving further problem. Okay, so I have written here omega n is equal to square root of k upon n, delta is equal to 2 pi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, then delta is equal to, again this will give you reduction 1 upon n log base to e, x1 upon xn plus 1. Okay, this is applicable to many number of cycle. Okay, then zeta is equal to C upon Cc, that is C upon 2m omega n. Then omega d is equal to omega n square root of 1 minus zeta square, and fd is equal to omega d upon 2 pi. And the last one, TP, time period, 2 pi upon omega d is equal to 2 pi upon square root of omega n square into square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so these are the formulae which we require to solve the further problem. Okay, so let us move to problem number 4. The students who came late, who are joining late, I already told you, we have already finished 3 problems. Okay, but next 4 problems are there, and which are somewhat difficult. Okay, their difficulty level is high. So let us see the problem number 4. In a damped vibrating system, the mass having 20 kg oscillations in 25 seconds. See, M is given 20 kg. Okay, then the amplitude of natural vibrations decreases to 1/8 of initial after 8 oscillation. Means number of oscillations, n is equal to 8. Okay, then what is 25 seconds? This is the time. Okay, that we'll see later on. What to find out from this T. See, always frequency and time are related. You know, frequency is equal to 1 upon time period, or time period is equal to 1 upon frequency. Okay, so here it is given that oscillations in a damped vibratory system, mass having 20 kg oscillations in 25 seconds. Okay, then we have to determine logarithmic decrement, that is delta. Then damping factor zeta, damping coefficient C, and spring stiffness K. Okay, what is given? M is equal to 20 kg. Number of oscillation N is equal to 8. Okay, so and then this is also given x1 upon xn plus 1. See, this formula is very important here, because up to this last problem we have used this formula only for one number of cycles. Now we can, what is given, it is the reduction is not given in one number of cycle, but reduction is given that after completing number of cycles 8, how much is the reduction? Okay, this is reduction is after 8 oscillation, the amplitude of this, actually this we have to find out logarithmic decrement from this one. So delta is equal to 1 upon n log base 2 e x1 upon x n plus 1 is equal to 1 upon 8 log base 2 e raised to 8. See, something is missing here. Some, I think some sentence is not given. 1/8, here it is given. The amplitude of natural vibration decreases to 1/8. Don't confuse between this 8 and this 8. This 8 is the number of cycle, that is n is equal to 8. And this is 1/8 of initial. Okay, 1/8 means x1 upon xn plus 1 is 1/8. 1 upon 1 plus 8. 1 upon 8 decreases to 1/8. Okay, that means what? If x1 is equal to 1, x9 is equal to 1 by 8. Okay, x1 is equal to 1, xn plus 1, that is x9 is equal to 1 upon 8. So 1 upon 8, it becomes 8. Okay, so the formula for 8 number of cycle is delta is equal to 1 upon n log base 2e x1 upon x n plus 1, that is 1 upon 8 into log base 2e 8. Okay, so here we will get delta, that is 0.2599. Okay, once we get delta, find out zeta. Okay, so from this formula, so zeta is equal to 0.0409. Okay, then what is the natural frequency of damped vibration? That is not omega n, that is omega d. Okay, but it is given. See, fd is equal to n upon td. Okay, because n is equal to say fd is equal to number of cycle. Because see, what else? Why I am telling you this is say somewhat difficult. Here it is given that in a damped vibrating system, the mass having 20 kg oscillations. Here some 40 number is there, some 40 is missing here. 40 it completes 40 oscillation in 25 seconds. Okay, that 40 is missing. So how will you find out 40 oscillation in 25 seconds? Okay, 40 oscillation in 25 seconds. So that will give you FD. You understood? So please correct here that if you are writing, write down here that in a damp vibratory system, the mass having 20 kg mass having 20 kg makes 40 oscillations in 25 seconds. 40 oscillation in 25 seconds. So that will give you FD n upon 40. So 40 upon 25. 40 number of oscillations taking place in 25 seconds. Okay. So if I want to find out time period T, it is 25 upon T, 25 upon 40. And if I want to find out FD, it will be 40 upon 25. So FD is equal to 1.6 hertz. Did you understand this one? If you don't understand, please ask me later on. Okay, this is very simple formula, that time period is equal to number of oscillations upon number of cycles. Okay, that means time required to complete one cycle. Here 40 cycles are taking place. Okay, and here in 25 seconds. So cycles per, you just go to the unit. If you, very simple, whenever you confuse in the formula, no, you see what unit you are getting. What is the unit of this frequency? F, cycles per second. You want to find out FD. How many number of cycles are completing? 40. How many, what is time required? 25. So cycles per second. That will give you hertz. Understood? So 40 upon 25 is 1.6 hertz. Okay. Once we get FD, find out omega D. You know FD is equal to 1 upon 2 pi into omega D. Therefore, omega D is equal to 2 pi FD. Okay, FD we have found out. This is 2 pi. So omega D comes out to be 10.05 radian per second. Okay. Once we find out omega D, find out omega N. Because zeta is known to you. So putting the value of zeta, putting the value of omega D, we find out omega N. Okay. So omega N comes out to be 10.09 radian per second. And always remember, we have learned in theory, omega D is always less than omega N. There is a very small difference. See, what's the value of omega D? 10.05. What's the value of omega N? 10.09. Okay, it is small, marginally small. But if omega D is coming larger than omega N, then your answer is wrong somewhere. You have to check it. Okay, so omega D is always less than omega N. Understood? Once we get omega N, what we have to find out? Spring stiffness. So omega N is equal to square root of K upon M. Okay, we know omega N, mass is given, find out K. That is 2039.27 Newton per meter. Okay, now next we have to find out C. So zeta is equal to C upon Cc. What is Cc? 2m omega N. M is given, omega N we have calculated. Putting this value, okay, and putting the value of zeta, we will get C. That is C is equal to 16.50 Newton second per meter. Okay, so again I will just recap this problem. Okay, please you have to make the correction. See, this PDF I have already uploaded in our Genomium Moodle. Okay, so there we have to make the correction. 40 oscillations, 40 is missing over here in the typing. That is a typing mistake. Okay, so M given, number of cycles are given, then reduction is given 1 by 8 x1 upon xn plus 1, and 40 oscillation in 25 seconds. From that one you find out FD. So first you find out from this x1 upon xn plus 1, find out delta. From delta find out zeta. Then from given number of cycles and time period you find out FD. From FD you find out omega D. From omega D and zeta you find out omega N. Once you find out omega N, find out K. And you want to find out C also. So find out C from this formula. Understood? Problems are very easy, but it requires practice. See who is joining now so late. Akash. We have finished 4 problems. Okay, please let me know any doubt is there. Put in the chat box. Otherwise, we'll move to the problem number 5. Any doubt? Even if you can't ask now or you want to ask later on, anytime you are free to ask your doubts over phone also or over any, you can say meeting also. Okay. Okay, let us move to next problem. Problem number 5. Okay. So, a flywheel of mass 20 kg and radius of gyration 0.3 meter makes torsional vibrations under a torsional spring. I think we have solved this problem. Yes, we'll just quickly go through this. Last time we have solved this problem. Okay, but of course, the figures were different. So, flywheel of mass 20 kg and radius of gyration 0.3 meter makes torsional vibration under a torsional spring of stiffness 5 Newton meter per radian. So, spring stiffness is given, that is KT, 5 Newton meter per radian. Then M is given, K is given. You find out mass moment of inertia I is equal to mk square. Okay, because this is the torsional vibration, you require I, not M. Okay, a viscous damper is fitted to reduce the amplitude by a factor 100 over 2 complete cycle. That means x1 upon x3. The value is given by it is 100. Okay, what we have to find out? Damping factor zeta, damping coefficient C, periodic time of damped vibration, that is TD. Okay, so these are the given things. N is equal to 2, KT 5 Newton meter per radian, K is equal to 0.3 meter, M is equal to 20 kg. Okay, so first you find out omega n, natural frequency, square root of KT upon I. Here, as because of torsional vibration, we consider I, and KT is the torsional stiffness. Okay, so I we can calculate mk square. Okay, so we can find out omega n. Okay, then you find out logarithmic decrement delta, because see this value is given x1 upon x3, 1 upon 2. That is, this is directly given, x1 upon x3 is 200 and number of cycles are 2. So you find out delta, that is 2.30. From delta you find out zeta from this formula. Okay, once you find out zeta, find out damping coefficient CCT here, CT is equal to say 2I CT upon 2I omega n. This is, so zeta is equal to CT upon CC, that is CC is 2I omega n. Okay, so zeta is 0.344, CT you want to find out. Okay, and 2I omega n is known to you. So you find out CT, that is damping coefficient for torsional vibration. Okay, and next you want to find out TP, time period, 2 pi upon what? Omega d. Okay, so what is omega d here? 1.56. 1.56 omega d we have not found out here. Okay, so directly I have taken. So here it should be for damped vibration 2 pi upon omega d. This is omega d. So how to find out omega d? You know the formula, square root of 1 minus zeta square into omega n. Okay, zeta is known to you, this one. Omega n is known to you here. So find out omega d. Okay, so TP is 2 pi upon omega d, that is 4.01 second. Okay, so such type of problem we have already found calculated or solved in the earlier lecture. Okay, let us move to problem number 6. Okay, problem number 7 is the most critical problem. That's why I have kept it the last problem. So now move to the problem number 6. Any doubt in this problem number 5? I don't think, because last time also we have solved that problem, such type of problem. So let us move to problem number 6. A body of mass 5 kg is supported on spring stiffness 1960 Newton per meter and has a dashpot connected to it, produces a resistance of 1.96 Newton at a velocity of 1 meter per second. Such type of problem also we have solved in the last lecture. Okay, in what ratio will be the amplitude of vibration be reduced after 5 cycles? Okay, what is given? See, M is equal to 5 kg. Then spring stiffness K is given 1960 Newton per meter. Then damping coefficient is given indirectly. What is damping coefficient? C is equal to force per unit velocity, F upon V. See here, C is equal to F upon V. What is damping resistance? Means nothing but damping force. F is equal to 1.96 Newton. Here it is given 1.96 Newton at a velocity of 1 meter per second. So V is 1 meter per second. So F upon V gives you C, that is damping coefficient. It comes out to be 1.96 Newton second per meter. Okay, so C is given, K is given, M is given. And what else is given? Number of cycles N is equal to 5. So you want to find out what ratio will the amplitude of vibration will be reduced after 5 cycle. That means after number of cycles 5 completed, how much is the reduction in amplitude, that we have to find out. So let us follow the reverse procedure. We want to see, this is the formula. Delta is equal to, here delta is equal to 1 upon n log base to e x1 upon x n plus 1. Put the value of n here. So delta is, see, this is the formula. Okay, here I have written. So put the value of n here, that is 5. So 1 upon 5 log base to e, you want to find out this x1 upon x6. Okay, so how to find out this? By knowing delta. That means to find out x1 upon x6, you first find out delta. Okay, how will you find out delta? See, this is the formula for delta, which will connect delta and zeta. So if you can find out zeta, you can find out delta. Okay, so now your aim is to find out zeta. How will you find out zeta? From the ratio C upon Cc. C is directly given. Cc is 2m omega n. See here, Cc is 2m omega n. Okay, omega n. So how will you find out omega n? Square root of k upon m. Very simple problem is there. Always try to follow the reverse procedure. Try to think in the reverse manner. Okay, what you want to find out x1 upon x6. Okay, so for that purpose you want to find out delta. To find out delta, you first find out zeta. To find out zeta, you first find out Cc. Okay, simple. And to find out Cc, you first find out omega n. Your problem is finished. Okay, so how is this problem? First find out omega n because k upon m is given. Then find out Cc, omega n calculated, m is given. Then from Cc and C, find out zeta. From zeta, find out delta. From delta, find out x1 upon x6. Understood? Okay, very simple problem. Can be asked in the GATE examination for 2 marks only. Okay, now this is the last problem. Acha, any doubt in the earlier up to this 6th problem? Please put in the chat box. You are getting it. Am I not too fast? No. Okay, okay. Let us move to next problem. Problem. This is the last problem. Okay, which is very important, and you can say it requires somewhat thinking or fundamentals. Okay, for the system, establish differential equation of motion and find expression for critical damping coefficient. What is given? Mass is equal to 2 kg, K is equal to 4000 Newton per meter, L is equal to 200 mm, A is equal to 75 mm. Find the value of damping coefficient for which the system will be critically damped. Again, I will read the problem. Now you have to tell me one by one. For the system, establish differential equation of motion. Okay, that means what is the differential equation of motion? You know, for longitudinal vibration, it is mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to 0. This is the equation of motion for damped free vibration. For longitudinal vibration. For torsional vibration, how will you write down? I theta double dot plus c theta plus k theta is equal to 0. Okay, so here it is the not torsional but angular vibration. That means theta comes into picture. Okay, and here there is a definite relation between x and theta. Okay, so let us consider this diagram. What is given? So this is the spring, this is the damper, and this is the mass which is going to vibrate. So if I pull this mass downward, okay, by some distance, that means if it makes the, you can say, angle theta, and if I release, this mass will vibrate around this equilibrium position in this fashion. I want to find out what is the equation of motion for this vibration, then what is the value of critical damping coefficient. See here, critical damping, find the expression for critical damping coefficient, and value also the damping, find the value of damping coefficient for which the system will be critically damped. Okay, so this value, so Then this is the spring, damper and mass. So what is the distance of spring from this pivot point A? That A is given 75 mm. What is the distance of mass from this pivot point? That is L. So L is given 200 mm. Okay. Then M is given, K is given. Okay. And this about C, damper, we want to design the damper as if nothing is given for the damper and we want to design this damper. Okay. So we want to find out CC and equation of motion. Understood? We have to show what is our aim to establish differential equation of motion. That is whatever I told you, I theta double dot plus C theta dot plus K theta is equal to 0. So we want to write down that equation by putting the value of I, K, C, etc. Okay, so now see, K is directly given. I also you can find out. Okay, but how to find out C? Okay, so that is our problem. See here, free body diagram is given. So this is the diagram shown in the displaced position. I always told you that in the first, that is undamped free vibration, you have to always consider the displaced position to draw the free body diagram. This is free body diagram and this is displaced position diagram. So the mass is displaced downward by angle theta. Hence, spring will also be getting stretched by amount, say, x. Okay. And there is a definite relation between x and theta because this is a distance A. Okay. As this is a distance A, can you tell me what is the relation between x, theta and A? You have to simply apply the formula AC is equal to R theta, which you are learning in geometry. Okay. So x is equal to A theta. You understood? No, we have solved such type of problem. We have solved the similar problem or exactly the same problem, but damper was not there because we have studied this in undamped vibration. Okay. So x is equal to A theta. You understood? Okay. Now let us move to this free body diagram. Okay. What are the forces acting here? See, this is mass M. Okay. Now, if you consider mg, you have to consider delta, not delta, say static deflection of the spring. That is delta only. Okay. But I am not considering mg because I am not considering delta, initial deflection of the spring. Anyway, those are going to be cancelled out. You know, mg is equal to k delta. Okay. So never consider weight of the mass because that is going to be cancelled out or neutralized with the initial deflection of the spring. That is that spring force. Okay. So what are the different forces now shown here? See, your spring is getting stretched. So spring force will be upward. So this is the spring force. Okay. So spring force is, what is its magnitude? F is equal to K into X. This is your X. K is the stiffness. So spring force is K into X. What is damping force? See, damping force is also always opposite to the motion, opposite to the velocity, you can say. So this mass is moving down. So damping force will resist it. That is the opposite upward direction. So this is your damping force. So see, damping force and spring force in one line only because these are in one line here. So this is the damping force acting upward. How it is given? FC, FD, this is the damping force. FC is equal to C into X dot. Okay. What other force is there? Inertia torque. Inertia force, not force, it is inertia torque. You know, it is given by I theta double dot. Okay. Now the question is, see, in the earlier section, we have solved the problem to determine the natural frequency by applying Newton's second law of motion. Okay. Here, this problem purposely I have solved using D'Alembert's principle. What is the difference between Newton's second law and D'Alembert's principle? See, in Newton's second law, your F is equal to ma. That means what? Your force applied is in the direction of motion. If I would have solved this problem by applying Newton's second law of motion, your body is moving down. So I would have shown this inertia torque in clockwise direction if I want to apply Newton's second law. And the equation for Newton's second law is what? Inertia torque is equal to summation of all the torques. Okay. But now I want to solve this problem by applying D'Alembert's principle. What is D'Alembert's principle? In mathematical term, summation of all the torques is equal to 0. because you want to bring this system in the equilibrium position, static position. So inertia torque plus remaining all torques must be equal to 0. So in that case, that means how much torque I want to apply here, inertia torque in the opposite direction of the motion, so that whatever the torques created by the spring force and damping force will be 0. Okay, so here always remember, whenever you want to solve the problem by applying D'Alembert's principle, your inertia force or inertia torque must be shown in the opposite direction of the motion. Your here mass is moving downward, that is in clockwise direction. So inertia torque should be shown in the anti-clockwise direction, that is magnitude will remain same. Whether it is Newton's second law or D'Alembert's principle, I theta dot will be always there. Magnitude will be same. The question is only the direction. And what is the equation for D'Alembert's principle? Summation of all the torques is equal to 0. Remember these two things. So again, I am repeating. If you want to solve this problem by Newton's second law of motion, direction of force, inertia force or inertia torque will be in the same direction of motion of the mass. And your equation is inertia torque is equal to summation of all the torques. If you want to solve this problem by D'Alembert's principle, you have to show inertia force or inertia torque in the opposite direction of the motion of the mass, and the equation is summation of torques is equal to 0. Okay, so let us see here now. So in this free body diagram, here I have written, as we are going to apply D'Alembert's principle instead of applying Newton's second law of motion, the inertia force oblique torque will be shown in the opposite direction of the displacement. So according to D'Alembert's principles, now you have to take moment about O, because see, this is the angular vibrations. So you have to always take the moment or torque. Okay, so considering the taking moment, it is I am considering counterclockwise direction as positive. Okay, you have to consider any one direction positive and negative. So here I am considering anti-clockwise direction is positive, and I told you the always take that direction positive in which inertia torque or inertia force is acting. So anti-clockwise positive. Okay, so what is your equation? Summation of inertia torque plus external torque is equal to 0. This is the equation of D'Alembert's principle. Okay, so now let us write down inertia torque. You have to follow the direction, counterclockwise positive. So inertia torque is acting in counterclockwise direction, so positive. What is the magnitude? I theta double dot. Okay, now I theta double dot plus, this is your damping torque. That means torque created by damping force. See, this is your damping force. Okay, now all this is vertical. In the diagram, it is not exactly vertical is coming. So damping force is acting in this direction. So what is the torque provided by this damping force about this O? Damping force Cx dot into this distance. What is this? See, this is A. So this is A cos theta. Understood? As this is A, this horizontal distance is A cos theta. Okay, simple trigonometry. So what is the moment by damping force about this O? Cx dot into A cos theta. Okay, see, I have written here. Cx dot into A cos theta. Okay, then what is the moment of spring force about this O? Force into this distance. Okay, same distance. So what is the spring force? K into X. What is this distance? Again, same. This is A. So this is A cos theta. So what is the moment created by spring force? K into X into A cos theta. See here. K into X into A cos theta. Okay. Now see here, there are two parameters. Theta is also there. X is also there. Okay. So you have to replace either theta in terms of X or X in terms of theta. Now here I am replacing, say, X. So you know already we have seen here. X is equal to what? From this trigonometry, X is equal to A theta from the geometry. So let us write down here. Okay. So as X is equal to A theta, X dot is equal to A theta dot. Differentiating, A is constant. So putting the value of X here, that is A theta. Putting the value of X dot here, that is A theta dot. Okay. So I theta double dot, first term as it is, plus C into X dot is A theta, A cos theta as it is, plus K as it is, and X is A theta into bracket A cos theta is equal to 0. Now you know that as these are the vibrations, theta is very, very small. So always you have to replace whenever theta, sine theta term is there, it is equal to theta. So sine theta is equal to theta and cos theta is equal to 1. But as there is no sine theta term here, cos theta is equal to 1. Okay. So putting cos theta is equal to 1, what are you getting? I theta double dot, first term as it is. Second term, this is C A theta dot A into A square. So C A square theta double dot. Oh, so, sorry, theta dot it is theta dot. Sorry, this is theta dot. Please make the correction. I don't know how it has by mistake it is here. This is theta dot, not theta double dot. Plus this is K into A into theta into A. So K A square theta is equal to 0. So what is your equation of motion? See, this is I theta double dot plus C A square theta dot plus K A square theta is equal to 0. Okay, divide by I. So theta double dot plus C A square upon I into theta dot plus K square upon I into theta is equal to 0. Okay. So what is this is your second order differential equation, the solution of which is given as theta is equal to e raised to st. If you remember, while studying this theory, that time also I told you that this you will require to solve the problem. Okay. So the solution of this differential equation is given as theta is equal to e raised to st. Okay. So where s is the constant, t is the time. Okay. So differentiating theta is equal to e raised to st. What you will get? Theta dot is equal to s into e raised to st because s is constant. And again differentiating, that is twice we are differentiating. What are we getting? Theta double dot is equal to s square into e raised to st. So putting the value of theta dot s into e raised to st here. Okay. Putting the value of theta double dot s square e raised to st here. And putting the value of theta e raised to st here. What you will get? See, putting in equation of s square e raised to st here. What is theta double dot? S square e raised to st. S square e raised to st. Plus this ca square upon I constant as it is. Replace theta dot by s e raised to st. That is s e raised to st. Plus ka square upon I as it is. Replace this theta by e raised to st. Okay. So you will get, this is our character. Now from this equation, cancel. What you will cancel? E raised to st, e raised to st, e raised to st is equal to 0. Okay. Or you can take common e raised to st into bracket s square plus ca square upon into s plus ka square upon I. But e raised to st cannot be equal to 0, you know, because e raised to st is theta. If e raised to st becomes 0, there will be no vibration, no? But it is not the case. Vibrations are taking place. So e raised to st cannot be equal to 0. So what will be equal to 0 then? S square plus ca square upon I into s plus k square upon I is equal to 0. This is your characteristic equation of vibratory system in terms of s. Okay. So from this one, you can find out the roots. Roots are nothing but your, if you put the value of this S1 and S2 in terms of your solution, x is equal to C1 e raised to S1t plus C2 e raised to S2t, that will give you solution. So this S1 and S2 is given by, this is the formula for how to find out roots, minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Okay. So what is a here? 1. What is b here? C a square upon I. What is c here? K square upon I. Okay. So from this equation, we have found out roots of the equation, that is S1 and S2 is equal to, putting the value of B, then BA. Okay. So let us take this 2 inside here now. So minus CA square upon 2I plus or minus, let us take this 2 inside the square root. That becomes 2I bracket square minus this 2, it will be come here. So 4 upon 2, that will be, when 2 will come inside, it will become 4. So 4 upon 4, that will be cancelled out. Okay. Minus K square upon I. Now see, this is the equation of S1. If, what is the definition of critical damping coefficient? You have observed that if the expression within the radical sign is equal to 0, this C becomes CC. That is the definition of critical damping coefficient, CC. Okay. So C will become CC when expression within radical sign becomes 0. That means from this one you can find out the value of Cc by equating it to 0. Okay, so Ca square upon twice I square minus Ka square upon I is equal to 0. Okay, as I equated to 0, this C will become Cc. The same expression I have written here and equated to 0. Okay, so then it is just further part is mathematics. Take this on right hand side. Okay, then Cc is equal to 2L upon I square root of K upon M. This is not I, this is L. So this is L is given to you 0.2 meter, A is given to you 0.75 meter, K is given to you 4000 Newton per meter, M is given to you 2 kg. You can find out Cc. Okay, see again I will just revise it because this is very critical problem, difficult problem. Okay, what is asked in this problem? Within five minutes I will say revise. For the system, establish differential equation of motion, means what? I theta double dot etc. And find the expression for critical damping coefficient. That means Cc is equal to something, that critical expression. Okay, if mass is given, K is given, L and A, the dimensions are given. Find the value of damping coefficient for which the system will be critically damped. That means Cc. Okay, so this is the system given. This is the diagram in displaced position, and this is the free body diagram. Okay, so there are three forces acting. Okay, this is spring force in the anticlockwise direction, damping force in the anticlockwise direction, and this is inertia torque in the anticlockwise direction. And you are going to apply D'Alembert principle. That's why this inertia torque is shown in the opposite motion of the mass, and your equation of motion is summation of torques is equal to 0. Okay, so here is the summation of all the torques is equal to 0. So all the forces are positive because all are acting in the anticlockwise direction. So I theta double dot inertia torque, then torque by spring force C x dot into distance A cos theta, then sorry, this is damping torque, this is damping for spring force, that is torque provided by spring force K into x into this distance is equal to 0. But we know that x is equal to A theta, so x dot is equal to A theta dot, putting the value of here x dot, that is A into theta dot, and x is equal to A theta. You will get this one. Okay, and as theta is very small, cos theta is equal to 1, so your final expression is this one. I theta double dot plus Ca square theta dot, not double dot, theta dot plus Ka square theta. Okay, so this is your equation in terms of theta double dot plus, this is value of say C theta double dot, sorry, theta dot plus K theta is equal to 0. Okay, so now we have to find out the solution for this one. So the solution for this differential equation is given as theta is equal to e raised to st. Okay, the same expression we have used for over damp and critically damp, but we have used in under damp further solution, that is you know e raised to I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta, if you remember, that is a further part. Okay, so here the solution of this vibration equation of motion is theta is equal to e raised to st, differentiating theta dot is s into e raised to st, further differentiation theta double dot is equal to s square into e raised to st. So putting the value of theta dot, theta double dot into this equation, what you will be getting? This one, s square plus this, in terms of, this is the differential equation in terms of s. Okay, so the roots of this this is known as a characteristic equation of vibratory motion. So from this characteristic equation we have determined the two roots, s1 and s2, and these two roots are this one. Okay, and now to find out the value of, so the critical damping coefficient, if the expression within the root, if it is equal to 0, this C will become Cc. Okay, so therefore Cc is equal to this one. From these mathematical steps we got Cc is equal to this equation. So putting the value of L, A, K, M, we get Cc 477.02 Newton second per meter. So what is your learning outcome? Determination of vibratory parameters. What are the vibratory parameters? Zeta, delta, Cc, omega d. Okay, that we have determined for different types of vibratory system of single degrees of freedom. Okay, so please let me know if any doubt is there. only 16s to first let me stop my presentation recording.